Welcome to the George Odlum Stadium, day 2 of the National Individual Track and Field Championships. Terry Finister here with Makiba Al-Seed. And we have quite a day in prospect. Makiba, what are you looking forward to today?
Well, today I'm looking forward to the men's long jump. We have some great competitors in there. Kelly Charles, Laquan Antoine, so looking forward to them competing. I'm also looking forward to the women's high jump, which is going to be underway in a short time, and we have the likes of Janil Jacobi, who's set a season's best of 1.70 meters earlier in the year, and we're looking for her to even jump high. And we are off with the first heat of the women's 400 meter youth.
And the women's 400 meter youth, a timed final. As you said yesterday, not necessarily the best format for these young ladies, but here they are. And we have Jayana McGlaw of Rockets Athletic in lane 3, Karina Monero of Monstars in lane 4, Amara Bissett of Rockets Athletics in lane 5, Kashama Ince of Pace Setters in 6, and then Ivanka Elik of Monstars. She is over in lane 7.
And we say with those timed finals, always the fastest times that gets on that podium. So it's going to be, again, interesting. We saw yesterday in the women's 800, Shamaraya from the Sports Academy came in first there, just beating out
Miss Montrop, Nibia yes. Montrop. And here's a ding-dong battle all the way down to the end between Kashama Ince and Mara Bissett. Bissett had been one of the fast athletes in this event for the year. Ince, however, had not run prior to today, well, to this weekend. And we see her there coming in first in this heat. And probably the faster heat, but we'll see how it works out. And Ince actually one of the younger competitors in this event, just 14 years old, competitor 104. You see her demonstrating the exertions that she's had to go through, 105.12. This is the under 18 version of this event. We'll be seeing the women coming up momentarily. But 105.57, not a bad run for her. She would certainly have preferred perhaps to have run directly against Shanice Curtin, whom we'll see coming up in the next heat. So 105.12, the flash time for young Kashama Ince. In second, Amara Bissett of Rockets in 105.57, a narrow finish for them. And then Ivanka Elik of Monstars coming in third in this particular heat. So live coverage from the National Stadium as we get ready for Heat 2. And in Heat 2, it looks as though we will be having just 3 athletes. Based on what we're seeing there at the start line. The young lady from, it appears that the young lady from Pace Setters may have dropped out, so it's Abigail Herman from Rockets, Shanice Curtin from Elite, and Destiny Wallace from Rockets facing the starter in this one. Curtin, a seasoned competitor. She's represented St. Lucia at the CAC Juvenile Championships, the NACAC Juvenile Championships. And she has already come into her own, now 16 years old this year. Both of her parents noted for their athletic prowess, having both represented St. Lucia in football. Her father has gone on to coach the St. Lucia national teams, national representative teams at various age groups, whilst her mother is a noted football official, but making her name, Shanice Curtin, in athletics. You see her just coming out of the blocks right about now, wearing that number 22, coached, of course, by Vanetta Lasporis. And 22 years ago today, in Barbados, Vanetta Lasporis would have stamped her authority on the CAC championships in Barbados, when she won the 400-meter title, winning and setting St. Lucia's national record at the Barbados National Stadium in Waterford. 52.21 meters in this very event, the 400 meters, and that remains the national record to this day. That's what some of the young ladies in this event will be aiming for as they continue in the sport.
And we see a foul there for Jeannot Henry of SP Survivors, and the officials just fixing the plasticine of where he had fouled in the men's long jump. And now the three ladies are under starters orders. We have Herman in 3, Shanice Cutton in 4, Wallace in 5, and they are off.
Curtin already out in front. She's run just over a minute this year, so she's certainly going to favor her chances to come away with a gold medal today. Of course, she'll have to run faster than the young ladies in the other heat without knowing what they've done in terms of their performances, or without being able to gauge herself directly against them. So basically she just has to go all out Makiba, go hell for leather, and try to run the fastest time that she possibly can and see if she can beat that 105.12.
Yes, and by the looks of it there, I think she will definitely run it. She's looking quite comfortable there, heading to the finish line strong, way ahead of the other two.
So as anticipated, she's won the heat. We just now will be waiting to see whether she has in fact surpassed the time. I think she should, as Makiba indicated, have done so fairly comfortably and put her name in the books as a national champion.
.102.98.
102.98 the time for her, and she is the national champion in the 400-meter youth girls. Bar at 1.55 meters, Malaika Destang clears in fairly straightforward fashion.
And we also saw clearance by Janelle Jacobi as well at 1.55 meters.
And coming into this season, a number of these young ladies would have marked 1.55 as their personal best. Unfortunately, a fairly small field in this event, just 4 young ladies, as we take a look at the 400 meters for youth boys. And in this one, we have 6 athletes. Roger Moffat of Choiseul, we saw him yesterday in the 800-meter run. Jaden Antoine of Pace Setters. Anwar Wells of Elite. Kadeem Larcher of Rockets. Shamel Durand of Pace Setters, and Roger Phillip of Rockets. But it looks as though the field is a little bit smaller. Somebody is missing. Can't quite make out who it is. Probably Jaden Antoine. Jaden Antoine from Pace Setters, not facing the starter this morning. So we have just 5 athletes in there.
And that would be Jean-Claude Auguste, representative at the Carifta Games in 2018 in the men's octathlon, just having a fair jump there in the long jump. Looks like it's a good jump, and the officials are measuring that jump. On the runway now, this looks like Michael Popotti of the St. Lucia Sports Academy.
Michael, a combined events athlete himself, dabbles in a number of different disciplines. But I think the long jump, perhaps one of his better long jump, along with maybe javelin throw. A couple of his better events. He should be in action as well in javelin throw later today.
Looked like for Popotti, that was a foul jump.
So back to the boys 400-meter run youth. We have a couple of finalists here from the 200 meters. But in this one, we have Roger Moffat, Choiseul, Anwar Wells, Elite, Kadeem Larcher, Rockets, Shamel Durand, Pace Setters, and Roger Phillip of Rockets. And they're off fairly. And young Larcher showing off his 200-meter speed. He is, in fact, in the 200-meter final. And he looks as though he's going to be breaking the stagger, and he's now charging down his teammate, Roger Phillip, on the outside. But not to be denied, Anwar Wells also. He's also in that 200-meter final, so it's really about staying power here for this national title between Wells and Larcher. And it looks as though Larcher is just going to outlast him, just going to be able to maintain that speed and maintain that relaxation for a little while longer. And he wins it all over Anwar Wells in second place. And in third, it looks like Roger Phillip coming up on the outside there from lane 7. Samani Herman, first time jumping this season, first time competing this season. Would also have been in the 200-meter heats yesterday from Grosley Athletic. And she misses, I think that's maybe her first miss, 1.55 meters, we'll see. Always a little bit disappointing to see small numbers in the high jump, the event, of course, for which St. Lucia is very well known. Laverne Spencer, first and foremost, obviously. Olympic finalist, 6th in the world in the Olympics, has won a number of international medals. Perennial champion at the CAC level. Janelle Shaper, Makiba Al-Seed. So she's going again. I think she's probably rushing it a little bit too much. Doesn't absolutely need to go right away. She has a couple of minutes, I think 90 seconds in fact, for her to attempt the height again. So she does not need to rush it. She can go and sit down, compose herself, think about her approach, see where she could change up, maybe have a quick chat with her coach. She has enough time, so she does not necessarily have to go. And in fact, I think that may have been her third try, because they are moving up, it looks like, to 160. So she is out of the competition at the opening height. Again, a little bit of a rush for her to do those 3 attempts a little bit too quickly. Wasn't originally in the start list when it was declared 2 weeks ago, but was subsequently added. And perhaps a little bit too much for her to try at an opening height.
Right. On the runway in the men's long jump, we see Kelly Charles, our season's leader, with 6.96 meters.
And Kelly just runs through there, and so that will just be marked with a straight line across, no attempt. So 2 events are taking place right now, both in the field, long jump, high jump.
Earlier we had the 5,000 meter men's open, and leading the pack, Michael Megaboost Bissett of Roadbusters finished in 16 minutes, 46.11 seconds. We had Henrys McDermid, also of Rude Bustards, finishing in 17 minutes, 8.71 seconds. And Neville Dupree was third. He's in Mercury, 18 minutes, 45.39 seconds.
Unfortunately, the young man who was leading for the early part of the race, Tarek Xavier, running unattached, of course, coming from Butler Community College. He was hoping to set a pretty quick time here today, and he had to drop out after about 5 or 6 laps, unfortunately. The young man in second, as we just take a break to go back to the long jump. And he gets a red flag. Unfortunate for him, overstepping just a little bit. But I was saying that McDiarmid, placing second in the 5,000 meter run. McDiarmid actually came here today with his container of coconut water. So he's well hydrated, and he is also using this as a bit of an economic opportunity. So selling his coconut water, high jumping, drinking obviously his coconut water before he heads out on the track. So he was well ready for today.
And it's a very hot day, very early.
It is indeed.
So
1.60 meters the height. Janelle Jacoby getting ready. I don't know that she needs to be there yet, since they're still doing adjustments. She could sit, chill, because they're clearly not ready for her. She actually cleared 1.70 in sneakers. She's again wearing sneakers. She got a pair of spikes last year, but they're a little bit too small for her. So I don't know if she's grown since November, December of last year. But her spikes now a little bit too small for her, and she's not very comfortable in them. So she's jumping again in sneakers, and hoping to replicate or perhaps even improve on her personal best. Confirmation from the girls 400 meter run youth of the medalists in the persons of Amara Bissett, 105.57, Kashama Ince, 105.12, and Shanice Curtin, the national champion from Elite, 102.98.
on the runway for the long jump, we see Laquan Antoine of SP Survivors waiting for the pit to be rigged properly so that he could take his attempt.
Next on the track, we're going to have the continuation of the 400 meter series. The only event on the track this morning, obviously aside from the 5,000 meter which was run earlier, will be the 400 meters. So we will have the 400 meter for women and then for men. Antoine doesn't see an immediate red flag, so he knows he's safe. He just needs to exit the pit in a safe fashion, which he does. Gets a white flag and gets a measurement. Getting ready for the 400 meters women. Looks as though it's going to be just 3 women in it, perhaps. Back at the high jump area, we'll come back to the 400 meters. At the high jump area, Janelle Jacoby 1.60 meters. She pulls up, doesn't break the plane. Resets. Not the fastest, but she manages to negotiate that height comfortably, 1.60 meters. So she's over and at least momentarily takes the lead as we go back to the 400 meters for women. A long jump, Jacques-Claude gets a red flag, and the official shows him exactly where he touched the plasticine, and therefore why his jump does not count. Malaika Destang just clips the bar, but manages to keep it on the uprights. And so she's clear at 1.60 meters. I think both herself and Jacoby cleared at the first attempt at 155, so they'll be joint leaders. So over in the 400 meters, we have in lane 7, Aliyah Estefo just setting up her blocks. In lane 3 is Carissa Augustin. There should be one more athlete there. They're already being called behind the blocks. I think we have Ania Henry of Night Riders in a lane just outside of the range of our cameras. Or is it just the two athletes? Yes, so indeed it is Ania Henry of Night Riders, along with Carissa Augustin and Aliyah Estefo, both of Survivors. And Estefo, a bit of class in this competition, in this event. We'll see if she's going to be able to produce the goods. As we said yesterday, Augustin has been running very well, especially in the 200. They both also do the jumps. But coming into the home straight right now, there you see on your screen Aliyah Estefo, but Carissa Augustin leading the way, leading her teammate, and Ania Henry will have to settle, it looks like, for third place, but it's all Carissa Augustin crossing the line in first place and taking the victory in the 400 meters women. The time obviously is going to be interesting to see if they ran faster. 59.70 meters, 59.70 seconds rather. I think that's the first time that an athlete has broken 1 minute so far this season in St. Lucia. Attempt at 1.60 meters, Tamisha Lenny. Crashes into the bar. Both of the other athletes obviously at this height have cleared. Samani Mathra failing to make the opening height. And then Jacoby and Destang both alive. Jacoby, 17 years old, attends the Corinth Secondary School. Destang, 19 years old, and formerly of St. Joseph's Convent, as we see Kelly Charles trying to put a stamp on his season. He's the season leader in this event, but he'll be hoping to cap the season off with a victory in this event as well. And looking good is Kelly Charles. Exits the pit quickly. Gets a red flag, unfortunately. Did not look too thrilled with the result of that jump. Looked long, but unfortunately he infringed on the plasticine, just probably getting a 2 on that plasticine, and therefore unable to get that one measured. So we're going to go now to the men's 400, our final track event for the morning. Looks like it's going to be a full house for this one. CJ Felix, Survivors, Kenrick James, Roadbusters, Euricus Alphonse of Choiseul, Roel Santoma of Elite, Latin Nicholson of Survivors, Michael Joseph of Grosley, Asa Francis, Pace Setters, and Arthur Lee Williams of Sports Academy. And look out certainly for lane 6, where Michael Joseph, he is a very gifted young athlete, attended Kingston College in Jamaica. Janelle Jacoby clearing there, I think that's at 1.65. So Michael Joseph, Latin Nicholson, 29 years old. Michael will be looking at the possibility of gunning for the St. Lucia junior record in this event. CJ Felix walking back to his mark, and CJ Felix, former combined events athlete. We see Roel Santoma of Elite and Latin Nicholson. Latin Nicholson, one of the strong competitors as well for the 200 meters. And Michael Joseph, we mentioned him a little while ago, competing for Grosley Athletic. He's now at the University of, at Kansas University, and he is the fastest St. Lucian this year in the 400 meters. But he'll be gunning for a very, very fast time today. He'll be hoping to eclipse 46.54. They're off fairly evenly. Again, Michael Joseph in lane 6, Latin Nicholson, lane 5, Roel Santoma in lane 4. Those will be some of your main contenders, and there goes Michael Joseph. He's off very, very quickly. Michael Joseph out in front. Asa Francis trying to make a late challenge. Here comes Latin Nicholson as well, but they are well behind the young man from Grosley Athletics. And he'll be looking very closely at the clock around a couple of meets after the collegiate season had ended. But a long collegiate season for him, running indoors and out, of course, for the first time at that level, running the relays as well for his school. So it'll be interesting to see what he still has in his legs and what sort of time he will have been able to produce today. 46.71, and he will be somewhat disappointed at that time because he is just outside of the national junior record. His father mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago that he was in fact looking to set the national junior record. That, of course, the flash time, so it could still change by a little bit, but his best time in college was 47.66, so he'll still be pleased that he was able to set personal best, but certainly he will have been a little bit disappointed to have missed out on the national junior record. In fact, running 47.03 seconds in one meet that he ran after the collegiate season was done. So good improvement for him, 46.71. It will set him up nicely as he goes into his second year at university, but just missing out on the national junior record. Ivan Jamari lives to fight another day. Ivan Jamari setting that record way back in 1991, one of the oldest men's records on the books. 1991 in New York City, 46.54 was his time on that occasion. Back to the high jump. And she is over. She is clear at 1.65 meters. Malaika Destang, I believe that may be a personal best mark for her. So 1.65 meters the height. We haven't seen whether Janelle Jacoby attempted that height as yet, but it appears that she may have done because they're going up. And we're over now in the pole vault area, again an event for which St. Lucia is fairly well known. They're going up to 1.70 meters, and again, this would be a personal best mark for Malaika Destang, and for Janelle Jacoby, it would match her personal best. I think so far they both appear to have been going through flawlessly as these gentlemen are warming up for the pole vault. So they're going up to 1.70 meters. I'm not sure whether either of the young ladies has had any misses so far. So it's going to be interesting to see what they produce. They both should have, assuming that I'm correct and that they have not had any misses, they should have a lot of jumping still in their legs. So 1.70 meters, the bar is set at.
You see Jacoby on the runway getting ready to make her first attempt at 1.70 meters.
And both of these ladies under 20, we haven't seen this level of under 20 jumping in quite a while in St. Lucia. As I said, always unfortunate. I always find it unfortunate that we haven't really done a lot to develop the event where we have had quite a history. But hopefully we will see these two taking this literally to new heights. And Jacoby not approaching that with a great deal of vigor. As I said earlier, not necessarily the fastest approach, but she appeared to be a little bit hesitant and not being entirely aggressive going for this height.
And with the continuation of the men's long jump open, we have, after 2 rounds of jumps, we have Laquan Antoine of SP Survivors leading with 6.51 meters. Zachary Edmond of Monsters sits in second with 6.41 meters. And Janai Klesse of the Sports Academy sits in third, 6.25 meters. We've seen 2 fouls by the season's leader, Kelly Charles of Rootbusters, and we've also seen 2 fouls by Jano Henry of SP Survivors. On the runway now, we have a first attempt in the women's high jump at 1.70 meters, Melika Desta. And she misses at that attempt as well. So the competition head on head by those 2 ladies, 1.70 meters. This will equal a personal best for Miss Destang, and well, this will equal a personal best for Jacoby of Monsters, which she cleared 1.70 meters at the meet number 2. But for Destang, this will be her first time clearing 1.70 meters if she clears. Second attempt jumps, we see Jacoby. Cleaner attempt there by Jacoby. And we had some issues in the long jump earlier after the second round of jump, so we see the officials really fixing that plasticine and making sure it's nice and smooth. Again, only 2 jumpers left in the field in the women's high jump. Jacoby of Monsters and Destang of SP Survivors. Second attempt here for Miss Destang of SP Survivors. Another miss there by Destang. So each jumper at 2 misses at 1.70 meters. Jacoby has already cleared 1.70 meters at league meet number 2. And this would be a lifetime best if Destang clears this height. These ladies have 1 more attempt at 1.70 meters. In this competition, 2 jumpers left in the field. They have about 2 minutes before they attempt the height. And we see Jacoby in the pink there, heading over to start her final attempt at 1.0 meters. Jacoby, currently a Form 5 student at the Corinth Secondary School, and we said that Corinth has produced a number of athletes, Jacoby being one of them. Oh, she didn't like that approach, so she's going to head back. She still has some time to attempt that jump. Woo! And Jacoby is over again, 1.70 meters. Second time in her life clearing that attempt in 2 meets back to back. Very good attempt.
Right, so now the pressure on Malaika Destang. She's got to clear this to stay in the competition. And she misses out at 1.70. As the end of her competition, she finishes at 1.65 meters. Still a very big accomplishment for her. 1.65 meters. As you see, Zachary Edmond on the runway in the long jump. So Janelle Jacoby will be national champion in the high jump, which she's done before. Zachary Edmonds, as he often does, leaning back on his takeoff and so falling into the pit prematurely. So the high jump bar goes now to 1.73 meters. Again, this would be a new personal best for Jacoby. Jacoby, the only one remaining in the competition, so she can take her time. She can just compose herself, prepare herself, attack this new height. She's tried 1.73 previously. As we go to pole vault. And Jamal Marcel, Jeremiah Felix, Rashid James, and Jaleel Hollins, all belonging to the Monrepo program. Action continues in the long jump with Lequan Antoine. The keeper just gave an update on the last known status.
Yes, Antoine is currently leading the competition. 6.51 meters on his second attempt. This will be his third.
Another decent looking jump. Mickey Ferdinand had been entered here. Mickey Ferdinand and Desron Daisy had been entered for this, but neither of them has put in an appearance, both at schools in the United States.
Yep, and we know Mickey more popularly in the high jump and the pole vault.
Yes.
But he's trying his hand more competitively in the
well he had
jump.
said that he was coming to do long jump, so I was anticipating seeing him a little bit. In fact, came into athletics in pole vault as part of the pole vault program, and then started high jumping, and then now he's talking about doing pole vault as well. So, doing long jump as well, rather.
Yep, and he's been breaking the national record in the long
yes.
jump. So he's pretty confident in his abilities in the long jump there.
And the national record, no mean feat. It's a little ways away. As we already saw one very, very narrow failed attempt this morning to break a national record. Michael Joseph just missing out, agonizingly close to the national junior record in his event. 1.73 meters, the height, Janelle Jacoby. Family from Babonneau, but lives in Grand Riviere and attends the current secondary school. She'll be going for 1.73 meters. A new personal best for her. Would be one of the best jumps from a junior athlete in St. Lucia in some time. Doesn't get up. She has been in a little bit of pain in recent weeks. Her normal physio is actually, and you can see her, they're feeling her back. Normal physio is off island. She hasn't been able to get the sort of treatment that she needs coming into the national championships. And of course, that's Makiba on top of preparing for CXCs and doing SBAs and so on. So it's just juggling the time and being able to manage getting some training in, getting a little bit of physio. It's been tough sledding for her. As we said yesterday, it's been a challenge for a number of these athletes coming into the national championships. But she's managed to come across and match her personal best, as we see young Jacques-Claude, and this time it looks as though he will get a legal jump, but he is going to walk back, and he is going to, and in a very happy fashion, as tends to be Jacques-Claude's personality.
He did not seem satisfied with that jump.
Really, only one step is needed.
Yeah.
But giving the official a little bit of extra work as he walks back through the pit. Not sure what is at issue here. Looks as though they're still going to give him a mark.
Yep.
Which
I
Which
think
ought
that's what
not
he
to be
was.
the case.
Yeah.
But it's Jacoby again, 1.73 meters.
Second attempt here at 1.7.
Needs to be just a little bit more explosive on her takeoff in order for her to really attack this. And she was to her credit, but a little bit rushed approach to the bar itself. Makiba, your thoughts on
That was
on
definitely a better attempt than her first attempt. I think she should just, like you said, be a little bit more explosive and just finish the jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she sort of rushed into it.
Which we see that she's a little bit different from the other high jumpers. She's a little slower to the
yes,
bar. That
yes.
works well for her because she's very explosive. On the runway in the men's long jump, we have Michael Popote of Sports Academy. His best jump so far, 6.24 meters.
So Jacoby, this is a third and final try at 1.73 meters. It would be her personal best. It would be a new personal best for her, having done 170 earlier this season, repeating 170 today. Not necessarily something you want to get too good at, learning not to break the plane, because she is expending energy on that approach each time, and it appears that she may indeed have broken the plane. I don't know if we can see the official's flag here, but it looks as though, yes, it looks as though her competition may be over. She's taking her shoes off, so she may have got a red flag there and may therefore be finished.
Yes, but we were talking earlier about Michael Joseph in the 400 meters, and he missed that record by like Terry would say. So he ran, time confirmed, 46.71 seconds, a personal best for him. Previous personal best was 47.03 seconds, which he had ran earlier in June.
Yeah, and as I said, his father had said that that was a target, a goal for him. Trying to break that national junior record, and just outside of it, in fact, closer to the national record than he was to his previous personal best.
Yes.
So a big run for him in winning the national title, but just missing the Ivan Jamari national junior record. And the bar is still up in the high jump, so I don't know if perhaps she was just given leave to sort out her sneakers. as we turn our attention. So let's just take in some long jump for the time being.
And we see Michael Popotti on the runway there from Sports Academy. Also a Form 5 student, so we see a lot of Form 5 students competing through preparing for CXC and SBAs and the like. Okay,
so Jacoby was in fact just adjusting her shoes. Hot day, it's approaching midday. She's been putting in a lot of jumps. Did she actually just try on her spikes? I think, I don't know if we can zoom out just a little bit or tilt down and see, yes, she has tried the spikes. So she's, for the first time, she's trying those spikes out in competition, has used them in practice. She's going for it. And she has to be careful here because despite the fact that she has been given leeway and that she is the only athlete in the competition, she does have to finish in a certain period of time, and she misses out on the 1.73. She's disappointed, you can see it there, but she should be pleased nonetheless, and she is. You can see that bright smile. She is happy with the national title and repeating her 1.70 personal best.
Equaling her lifetime best there, consistent during these inconsistent times of COVID. So kudos to her. And it's important to know that Janelle Jacoby's personal best before her 1.70 meter attempt was 1.5.
1.55 was her official person. She had done 1.60, I think, in school. But we know how sometimes the measuring can go in school. It's not always precision.
So really big breakthrough season for her here. Looks like Janai Klase sitting in third here, South Sports Academy will take an attempt. His attempt here in the men's long jump. Nayo Matthews of the Sports Academy, 14 years old, youngest in the field. Very good potential. He has had a 5.88 meters. He's going off after that 6 meter mark. We have on the runway now Kelly Charles, our season's leader, 6.96 meters, previously at league meet 1, I believe. He is struggling today in getting some attempts down, has multiple fouls, but we hope that he could get a clear jump in. Looks like a fairly decent jump and big jump for Mr. Kelly Charles of the Roadbusters Club. Looks like it's going to be just under 7 meters. So our national champion in the men's 400 meters would be Michael Joseph, competing for Grosile. Just missed the national record, which is 46.54 seconds. Ivan Jamari, that was set in 1991, so a couple years old. And Michael ran 46.71 seconds, had a phenomenal season. Freshman at Kansas University. We'll get some words with Michael eventually, sometime today, on his performance. Other competitions we're looking forward to happening later in session 3, this morning session, day 2 of the national championships. Men's pole vault, the girls 100 meter dash youth, boys 100 meter dash youth, the women's 100 meter dash open, and the men's 100 meter dash open. And we see a clean jump there for Jano Henry, who also had been struggling in the long jump previously with multiple fouls. He doesn't look satisfied with the jump, but at least he's gotten a fair jump in.
You look, I didn't say where you're over. Behind me? Do me a favor, please. Just come. Just. Well, I'm here with the winner of the 400 meter men, Michael Joseph. Michael, just talk me a little bit through that race.
Well, I was trying to just go out and do the best time I can possibly do, but I got too complacent in the front, not knowing how fast I was going. Yeah.
You came in there with 47.03. Your father told me that you had actually been trying to break the national junior record. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about it.
You know the record?
Yeah, 46.5, I think.
You ran 46.71, Mike. So, what was the feeling like now that you know that?
Well, I know next time to go out there and just continue pushing. Don't slow down. Try and go for the record next time.
You've been away from home for a little. NCAA's.
It's been pretty good. Just to say, this year was full of injuries. Actually had 3 injuries for the year. So, you know, it's good to be back and putting some good times on the track.
Okay. What's ahead for you for the summer, or are you just starting to get ready for your next collegiate season?
I'm moving to represent the country. I heard NACAP is coming up. Hopefully I can break the junior record there.
All right. And thanks for joining us and win today.
Thank you.
Janil Kabir, but for the time being, Jason, come back a bit.
So the men's long jump still in good action there. And we're going to welcome our national record holder in the 100 and 200 meters, Miss Julian Alfred. She's not competing today due to an injury, but we will get some words from her a little later today. On the runway now, Jacques-Claude Auguste, Carifta participant for St. Lucia in the combined events, finished 5th at that event. So he will be competing in the long jump and the men's javelin as well as the men's high jump today. he was not very satisfied with his previous jump, but it looks like he will be taking a better attempt. And it looks like a foul for him running through the board.
I'm happy to be joined. We're still trying to get Janelle Jacoby, winner of the women's high jump, but I'm happy to have high jump.
Hi.
Something you're getting too used to.
I'm really not getting used to it. I actually started at camp and these were almost the end. We had this in. Just happy.
There's no scientific background and research on this, but trust me, old people will tell you the broth is getting your blood. Right there? That's Jono guy.
Don't worry about that. But let me tell you, my work takes me in and out of here, you know. I had to see who had fixed.
Just do that? That's for the parties. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that, a little bit of a technical issue over in our previous location, but we're back with Julian and Alfred. Julian, of course, you're at the University of Texas right now. You have some eligibility remaining. We were just talking about your hopes, your dreams, your expectations going forward.
So my dream moving forward, I really want to break the collegiate record. I was looking forward to that this year. I also want to qualify for both the World Championship in 2022 and 2023 and also qualify for the Olympics 2024.
All right, some big dreams there. And in terms of preparation, what is your coach saying? What is your body feeling like? As I said, you've had a few injuries in recent years. Hopefully that's your tally of injuries for life, and you're all clear going forward. What's your medical team and your coach saying?
So I'm really hoping this is my last injury. I don't want to deal with more injuries because it really held me back and messed with me mentally and physically and held me back from lots of things that I wanted to do this year. But moving forward, where my coaches and trainers actually want me to do lots of rehab whilst I'm home, also work on me mentally, and just lots of stuff that I have to work on, such as managing both muscle and body fat the same ratio where I don't get injured, and that was part of the issue this year. But right now I'm just really focusing on resting, getting enough rest as I'm home, and just getting back healthy for the rest of the year.
And finally, speaking about mental rehab, one of your favorite, not one of your favorite, your favorite person in the whole wide world had a birthday earlier this week. Tell me a little bit about that and give her a little birthday shout out.
Shout out to Livin Spencer, happy belated birthday, and I wish you many more, and also all the best at the Olympics.
All right, thanks a lot, much appreciated. Julian Alfred, one of St. Lucia's leading female athletes, and looking forward to seeing a lot more coming from her in the years to come.
All right, we're seeing Jano Henry on the runway. We have Jano Henry.
Joined now by Janelle Jacoby. Janelle winning the women's high jump. Janelle, just your second jump for the year, but matching your personal best 1.70. You've had a little bit of a rough time coming into national championship. Just talk to me about your background coming in here with your injury, preparations for CXC and so on.
Well, I mean, it's been very rough for me, to be very honest, but I believe like with time and with scheduling and planning, everything would go as planned. In terms of my injury, it's been a really hard time for me because I haven't been getting the chance to train because I have to rest and all of those types of things, and there's school and having to actually keep on top of my game in school and in sports. It's a lot, but I believe that if you really want something, you could put your mind to it and you could get there, but it just takes time.
All right, and despite that, you've managed to set your personal best this season and match it today, 1.70 meters. What does that feel like, and what were you thinking when you were attacking 1.73?
It feels really good to match my personal best. It tells me that I have a lot of potential and I still have more in me. And I believe that, going up for 173, it was basically more of just me contemplating on whether or not I should have jumped or not because of the amount of pain that I'm in right now. But apart from that, I just went for it, despite all the pain and me being exhausted. But I believe that I could accomplish that. I could accomplish it.
Maybe next time start at 160. Thanks a lot, Janelle, and congratulations to you. All right, I think we have one more chat coming up, but we are going to come back to the long jump in progress, and the long jump men is our final event for the morning. We will resume this afternoon with the 100-meter series. So we have two events ongoing right now, the pole vault men, as well as the long jump men going into its final stages. And we see there Jacques-Claude Auguste of Mercury walking back. He's had, as he always does a very animated and very interesting competition. See Rochelle Etienne, one of the officials for that event. We mentioned her yesterday, Youth Olympic Games medalist. And Jacques-Claude looks like he's somewhere in the 5'7" region, 5'6", 5'7". So he's going to get a measurement on that. We'll be getting an update shortly as to the top 3 athletes in that event. Jacques-Claude, an experienced competitor, multi-talented combined events athlete, has represented St. Lucia in the combined events regionally. And just striding back to his mark, young Michael Paporte, St. Lucia Sports Academy, 19 years old. A bit of a stutter step there in his run-up, but he's somewhere in the high 5s, or perhaps just past that. Our camera not entirely side on, but he's somewhere in the 6-meter region. And in the 6-meter region, he would be pretty competitive, as Makiba is just coming back to let us know exactly how competitive he is.
So with 5 jumps out of the way, we see Kelly Charles taking the lead, 6.84 meters. Laquan bumps down to 2nd right now, but he betters his jump to 6.63 meters, and Jano Henry of SP Survivors finally gets in a jump, 6.36 meters. We have Zachary Edmonds sitting in 3rd still at 6.41 meters.
And Jano, a little bit fortunate that we had some dropouts, because had we not had people withdrawing from the event, he would have to have been amongst the top 8 in order to continue jumping. He remained in the top 8 despite not having had a mark in his first 3 attempts. And that was only because there were only 8.
Yes. And on the run where we see Nayo Matthews, the youngest in the field at 14 years, has a jump of 5.88 meters.
Fine young athlete Nayo, but he hasn't had a lot of competition the past few years. He's shown a lot, in particular at the primary school level, but hasn't really translated that as he's gone into his teens.
Look like that jump is just under 6 meters. On the runway, the event leader and the season's leader, Kelly Charles of Road Busted. Kelly has struggled in this meeting, having 2 fouls in the competition so far. Look like that jump will be under 7 meters, which is what he is looking for, in the 650 range. And he seems very much disappointed in that attempt. Moving into the final attempts in the men's long jump event. On the runway now, jumping first, we have Jano Henry. His best out of 5 jumps, 6.36 meters. Right, we saw that attempt by Jano Henry, who struggled in the competition. I believe he had 4 fouls and just run through that one. So 1 clean jump, 6.36 meters. Currently standing in 4th place, so I think he will not be able to maintain that. But we saw him struggle a little bit there in the approach, where he looked like his legs had buckled halfway through the approach. And we see our EMT checking in on him, making sure he's okay. Next on the runway, sitting in 3rd, Zachary Edmond of Monstars, 6.41 meters after 5 jumps. Looks like a big jump there for Zachary Edmond. Zachary is sitting currently in 3rd place, and he looks to overtake Antoine for that 2nd place spot, which it looked like he fell short, so he might maintain that 3rd place. On the runway now, Laquan Antoine, SP Survivors, sitting in 2nd after 5 attempts, 6.63 meters. He's hoping to overtake our leader, Kelly Charles. So he has to jump 6.85 or better. Antoine has a personal best of 6.80 meters, a little bit short of that today. Let's see if he could get a better jump in, and he will have to get a lifetime best to overtake the lead. And that looks like it will be a clean jump, definitely over 650, close to 7 meters. He's very anxious, waiting to see. A little bit disappointed there in that attempt. On the runway now, Jean-Claude Auguste, 6.10 meters after 5 attempts. The octathlete competing today in the long jump. We saw him reach for the board there. Not a very good attempt there for him. He's been struggling today. In the long jump, only jumped 6.10 today. We hope to see him jump really well later this afternoon in the men's high jump and also in the javelin, which are his better events. On the runway now, Michael Popote, jumping at number 6 of the Sports Academy, has jumped 6.24 today. That looks like that's a close enough jump to 6.50 meters, very close to that. So we're hoping that Michael could better his jump and pop up in the rankings. Up next on the runway, we will have another Sports Academy student, Janai Klesse, Sports Academy again. 6.25 has been his best after 5 attempts. He got bumped, sitting in 5th right now. A little short of 6.50 meters again, a little over 6.20. And Klesse also another Form 5 students in the field. Next up on the runway, we have young Niall Matthews, attending the Sports Academy, trying to get over that 6 meter mark, 5.88, his best so far after 5 attempts, only 14 years old.
Another stadium.
Now very aggressive there to the board. Nice pop off of that. Again, a little under 6 meters. Nayo is also registered to compete, one of 4 athletes in the men's triple jump later this afternoon. So a very talented jumper, a very talented young jumper at that, only 14 years old. And finally on the runway, the event leader, Kelly Charles, Roadbusters, has a personal best of 6.96 meters, which he did at League Meet 2 in May. Jumped 6.84 meters after 5 rounds in this competition. Struggled a little bit. 3 fouls. We're hoping to get a clean, nice jump over 7 meters for him. And we're waiting to see that white flag go up. Up! It's a white flag and it will be measured. Just under 7 meters. He seems very disappointed into this competition, where he was hoping to attempt and get another personal best. This brings us to the end of our long jump men's competition. Unofficially, might not be any changes. It looks like Kelly Charles of Roadbusters will maintain and be named the champion. In the women's high jump open, official results have been posted. Janelle Jacoby, the winner at 1.70 meters. She is the national champion, the 2021 national champion in the women's high jump. Medica Destang is in second, 1.65 meters, and Tamisha Lenny, Monsters, 1.55 meters. And we're getting ready for our 100 meters. Very exciting stuff. First up, we have the finals of the girls 100 meter dash youth. In lane 1, we have Sierratina Hilaire of Monstars, ran 13.10 in the prelims to make it to the final. In 2, we have Jamil Francis of the Sports Academy, 13.46 to make it into this final. In 3, we have Frijan Jean-Baptiste of Pace Setters, ran 12.94 seconds to make it into the final. Hannah Charles of Rockets in 4, 12.60, the fastest time posted to make it into the final. Naomi London, Pace Setters, 12.75. Hadassah Papius in 6, Roadbusters, 13.02. Clidiana De Rose of Abilene, 13.54 in 7. And Brittany Mangal of the Sports Academy is in lane 8. They are currently on the tracks and the blocks are being set for this very exciting final. I think my favorite here is Hannah Charles. She's been executing and having a really good season in the sprinting events, the 100 and 200 meters. But I will not count Naomi London of Pace Setters out of this race at all. What do you think, Terry?
Absolutely. London hasn't run much, hasn't run at all this
At
season
all, yeah.
prior to yesterday. So she's not somebody that we've seen a lot of, but she's a really massive talent and had shown a lot in years prior. So her expectations would be pretty high coming into competition this afternoon.
Yep, and we spoke about Sierratina Hilaire a little bit yesterday and not being satisfied with how she executed that race yesterday. So we hope that she executes well today and also pops into the top 3. Ladies are under starters orders. In lane 1, Hilaire, 2, Francis, 3, Jean-Baptiste, 4, Charles, 5, London, 6, Papius, 7, De Rose, and 8, Mangal. And they are off to a nice clean start. Charles takes the early lead and runs away with it, followed closely by Naomi London of Pace Setters. We wait to see the time that she posted. She ran 12.60 seconds to make it into that final. Let's see if she ran faster in the finals. But unofficially, Hannah Charles of Rockets Athletics is your 2021 National Individual Champion. 12.24 seconds. 12.24 seconds for Hannah Charles in that event to be named the winner and the national champion. Also saw 12.56 by Naomi London. Only her second time competing. She competed yesterday and competed today for this season. Looks like we have some trouble for the third place finish there. But again, Hannah Charles is your national 100 meter youth champion at 12.24 seconds. Naomi London, second, 12.56 seconds.
And in the background, we see the warm-ups for the men's javelin throw taking place. Albert Reynolds will be in action. He's represented St. Lucia at the World Championships.
Oh, and third place we have Sierratina Hile, 12.926 seconds.
A mother who came down with her today will be pleased at that. Transitioning, in fact, to the sprints under the tutelage of Lenin Leonce.
And we get ready for our boys 100 meter dash youth as they walk onto the tracks. Competing in this final or making it to the final. In lane 1 we will have Laverne Jabatis of Abilene.
Seaman wearing number 3 there in front.
Yep. 12.11 seconds to make it into that final.
Lester Emmanuel of Choiseul. In the black shirts, the Heats are wearing all black in lane 2.
In 3 we have Dequan Louis of the Sports Academy. National colors there. 11.90 seconds to make it into the final.
As assistant starter Arlene Harmon. Starter Arlene Harmon. I'm not sure if she's the assistant for this particular race, but she's been a starter. She's been an assistant starter. A couple of years ago, asked, in fact, to get into starting because it wasn't something that she had been doing previously. But she has been doing it since then and has been doing well.
In lane 4, continuing down there, we have Sergio McKenzie, one of our favorites in this competition of Rockets Athletics, 11.15 seconds to make it into that final.
And Sergio, far and away the best junior sprinter so far this season. I should say youth sprinter, under 18.
In 5, we have Kushel St. Rose, pace setters, 11.37 seconds.
Kushel, one of a number of athletes coming into action in time for the national championships. Though it's clear that a number of them have been in training because they've been turning in the performances.
Yes, but they have not competed. And again, we've had a very short, quick season.
Yep.
So we have Denzel Phillips of SP Survivors in 6th, posted 11.75 seconds to make it into the final.
And Denzel, the youngest athlete in the final, just 14 years old. Under 18 is the division. Most of the young men in here are 16 years old. Denzel, just 14.
In 7, we have Alton Joseph, Knight Riders, ran 12.06 in the prelims.
Number 86, you see in there towards the bottom of your screen. Just focusing right now on Denzel Phillips.
And Denzel has represented St. Lucia at the CAC Juveniles.
NACAC
NACAC
Juveniles.
Juveniles as well. And in 8, we have Kanye Tanner, who was running unattached and posted 12.26 in the prelims. So Sergio McKenzie, lane 4 in that orange shirt.
And looks like Tanner did not face the starter. So we have seven young men. They're up and they're off. Mackenzie out in front from early, and Mackenzie seizing this race early and not letting it go. He's the winner, coming across the line well ahead of his competitors, well executed. Fine drive phase, and he manages to hold his speed all the way through the line, well ahead of Kershel St. Rose, who just attempts just grabs his thigh as he crosses the line. .08 it looks like, as we see Darian Roberts with his first attempt in the javelin throw. 11.08 for Sergio McKenzie. St. Rose 11.64 as Darren Roberts gets his measurement.
So in our youth section of the 100-meter dash, Rocket takes the championship.
Boys and girls.
Boys and girls. Hannah Charles and Sergio McKenzie. Now moving on to our women's division, Women Open, 100-meter dash open. We have Nalia Albert in 1 of pace setters, 13.22 in the prelims. In 2, we have Kiana Casimir of Rockets Athletics, 13.18 seconds. Zadie St. Louis in 3, running unattached, 12.80 seconds. Zadie's actually our 800-meter runner.
Yes, from Butler Community College.
Yes.
You can see her Butler tunic.
Yep. She's trying her hand at some sprints here.
Well, she's always been somebody who, especially because of her training regimen under Andrew McGlaw, he tends to believe very strongly in exposing the middle distance athletes in the sprints. So she's always been somebody who's been doing 200s, 100s. So she's got a fair amount of range. I think she may have won a national title 3 or 4 years ago in the 200. So she's got a fair amount of range all the way from the 1 up to the 1500.
We have Maya Hippolyte, SP Survivors, 12.61 in the prelims. In 4, Kayla Charles. In 5, also of SP Survivors, 12.69 in the prelims. Joy Edward, SP Survivors, 12.81 is in 6. In 7, we have Kayla Thorpe of Monsters, 13.37 seconds in the prelims. And wrapping up Well, looks like these are all the ladies that will be competing.
Yes, Kayla's out. Said she was a little bit sore overnight. In fact, it was her first time competing for the season. And she reported that she was sore overnight and would be unable to compete today.
So it looks like it's only 6 ladies in that final. Albert in 1, Casimir in 2, St. Louis in 3, Hippolyte in 4, Charles in 5, and Edwards in 6. Maya Hippolyte has posted the fastest time in the prelims moving into the final. We just saw a launch in the javelin by our Pan Am bronze medalist Albert Reynolds, almost clearing the field there, Terry.
Yeah, I don't know how wide a shot we can get, but the young men at the far end of the field are in a little bit of bother if they stay there.
Yeah. Maybe that's his target. What do you think? And Albert has thrown 71 meters this year. Only one competition so far. This will be his second competition for the year.
Yeah, unfortunate for him because obviously they're not a whole ton of javelin throw competitions. And he was really hoping that he would be able to make the Olympic team, having competed at a global level 2 years ago. And he was really hopeful that he would be able to make it back to that level in 2021. Joy Edwards, right there, bottom of your screen, closer to the camera. Kayla Charles, her parents here today. They are always here to support her. They were absent yesterday. Unusual for them not to be there. And they're off and running. And Maya Hippolyte up in front. And she will take this one from Zadie St. Louis.
.47 seconds there for Hippolyte. .67 for Zadie St. Louis.
And of course, they're being watched today by the national record holder in the 100 meters in the person of Julian Alfred, with whom we spoke earlier.
And then Kayla Charles will take third at 12.75 seconds. Interesting, we saw some faster times actually posted in the youth, the girls' youth.
Not unusual these past few years. We've seen that happening quite a bit, that the youth girls tend to outperform their older pairs. And that there very often is a very much higher level of competition. Much stiffer competition in the under-18 ranks than there is amongst the under-20s and the seniors. Has been a feature of our athletics for perhaps 5 or 6 years now, for better or for worse. Perhaps it says that people aren't going on, or they get diverted by other interests. Neve Huberts in the men's javelin throw. You see Albert Reynolds on screen there. Didn't get measurement on his first attempt, but it's looked to be somewhere in the 70-meter region. Albert really unrivaled in terms of competition here in St. Lucia. In fact, he has briefly held the OECS record in that event about 2018 or so. So he has very few pairs even in the wider Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. Anderson Peters, of course, the world champion and the OECS record holder. Former Carifta champion, 2016 Carifta champion. Albert, also a Carifta champion. But way back, I think it was, what, 2008, Albert Reynolds setting or winning gold. Keyshawn Walcott, of course, also a Carifta champion from Trinidad and Tobago, who would go on to win Olympic gold, the only athlete ever to have won Olympic gold and Carifta gold in the same year. He also won World Junior Championships gold that year. We spoke about him earlier, Michael Popote, the javelin throw. He was also in action in the long jump. And this is one of his stronger events, Popote. Popote actually coming into the event today was the season leader in javelin, but with a distance that would be well behind what Albert Reynolds would have been capable of. He had thrown previously 46.73. Darren Roberts, also in this competition, had thrown 43.18. with Jacques-Claude Ogis 42.47 and CJ Felix 39.40 meters. And if you've been listening today, you would be familiar with a number of those names from our long jump competition and from the 400. Several of those athletes contending for the combined events. And again, you would have seen him before, earlier in other events in this competition. Getting set for the 100 meters, the finale of the 100 meter series. with the men's 100. And in the men's 100, we'll be looking forward to a clash between the likes of Miguel Charlery, Dylan Edwin, Lennon Leos, Shelton St. Rose, and Asa Lionel, all very much in contention. But once you've made the final, you're in contention. So we'll see what these young men can produce. Shelton St. Rose coming in with a season's best 10.59 seconds. Former Youth Olympic Games medalists. Dylan Edwin, fastest man in St. Lucia this year. And when we say fastest man in St. Lucia, Dylan has not competed in St. Lucia much for this season. Most of his competition would have been in the United States with Texas A&M Commerce, where he ran 10.45 seconds at the NCAA Division II Championships. He was 6th, an All-American. Albert Reynolds in action, and Albert Reynolds with another big one. This one not quite as far, it doesn't look like, but still a pretty big effort from the young man from Babonneau, attended Babonneau Secondary. ...2007, I said earlier 2008, so actually 2007 Carifta champion. Makiba should get us the particulars as to his first throw momentarily. Very experienced athlete. St. Lucia national record for javelin throw. Also holds the junior record for the event, 69.13 in Sao Paulo, Brazil, 2007. As we see the pole vault ongoing, we're about to get into the actual competition. Albert, one of only a handful of men, though, to go over 80 meters in javelin throw from the Caribbean. We'll talk about him more in a little while. Pole vault, Rashid James, 17 years old. No indication as to what the opening height is, but they would surely have quite a ways to go to equal national junior record in that event by Dominic Johnson. That record 5.00 meters way back in 1994. So a couple of misses there early on in the pole vault as we go back to the 100 meters, the 100 meter final. 100 meter men. Miguel Charlery running out, testing his blocks, ensuring that all is in order. Lennon Leos in blue. Gavin Donai coming out in lane 8. Just to run down the finalists for you, Brendan Cherubin, Knight Riders, 11.02 seconds. He's in lane 1. See him stooping there. Right now we're looking at Asa Lionel, an attached 25 years old, 10.93 seconds, his prelim time. Miguel Shalry, we mentioned him a little while ago, youngest man in the field, just 18 years old, Raucous Athletics, 11.01 seconds, his prelims time. Dylan Edwin has run 10.40 seconds this year. He's ran 10.69 in the prelims yesterday, very unbothered. He's running unattached. Lennon Leos Monstars, 10.62 seconds. Shelton St. Rose of Choiseul, 10.68 seconds. Asa Lionel, 10.93. Tyler Toussaint, 10.97. And Gavin Donai, 11.02. A little bit of camaraderie there between Edwin and his rivals. Unfortunately, we will not see in this competition Cornel Lionel, sustaining an injury a few weeks ago and unable to compete at the national championships. Quite a formidable athlete, and we would certainly have seen some faster times had he been part of the competition. Miguel Shalry, very talented, made the Carifta finals in 2019. I think he finished 4th, Makiba, just outside of the medals.
Yes, he finished 4th in that final, which is a big deal for St. Lucian. That's as close to a podium finish we've got today in quite a few
In
years.
about 4 years, yes. So number 199 there, the favorites for the golds. That's a overwhelming favorite for the gold, Dylan Edwin. But there's one of the men who may have something to say about that, young Lennon Leonce. He has very fond memories of this stadium, having won Carifta Gold here in 2009 in the long jump. Shelton St. Rose, you saw him there just walking across your screen. And St. Rose, also a very gifted competitor, Youth Olympic Games semi-finalists 2 years ago. Brendan Cherubin, one of the older athletes here, 29 years old.
I think for a lot of these athletes competing here at the national championships today, especially in that 100-meter final, is that they get to compete against Dylan Edwin, their compatriot, who they've seen do great things in college. So now to be in the same final as he is, run against him, is exciting.
Yeah, and even though he's in, this is, as I said, aside from not having Cornel Lionel, this is probably just about as stacked a field as you could probably get in the national finals. Can't really think of anybody who should be here, or who you would want to be here, aside from Cornel. Cornel himself, of course, of very proud bloodlines. His mother was one of the first athletes to represent St. Lucia at the international level at the first World Championships in Helsinki. That was in 1983. Along with John Alberti, who was recently in St. Lucia and who would, of course, have held the 100-meter record. But that's all in the past. Our attention all on these young men here today. Cherubin, Charlery, Edwin, Leos, St. Rose, Lionel, Toussaint, and Donai. St. Rose, Essex College, New Jersey. Looks like Toussaint is out. Edwin, most recently Texas A&M University Commerce, Lennon Leos, Wyoming University. So 3 collegians or former collegians side by side, flanked by Miguel Charlery, Asa Lionel.
Looks like Brendan Cherubin there of Night Riders running in lane 1 was uncomfortable there in the blocks.
Brendan really vastly experienced. He's won Independence title back in 2015. Has been the 4x1 champion at national championships. Won national juniors, the invitational at national juniors in 2016. He's a very capable athlete, and they lined up again, hoping to get a fair start this time. And they do. They're off and running, no early advantage gained, but it looks like Lennon Leos and Dylan Edwin in the middle of the track. It is going to be neck and neck between those 2 men in blue, Dylan Edwin and Lennon Leos, leaning across the line almost simultaneously. 2 of the tallest men in the field, and they were out in front all by themselves. Leos has been working on his mechanics, fine-tuning throughout the course of the season. Stride for stride, they come across and they lean almost simultaneously. They look almost like mirror images of one another as they go across the line. It's going to be very tough to tell those 2 apart. And they're all looking at
Looks like it was
the indicator.
10.55 for Edwin and 10.57 there for Leos. And third place would go to Shelton
St. Rose.
Young Charlery finishing in 4th there. 10.90 seconds.
And some of these guys, of course, will be coming back for the 200 meters a little bit later on. In particular, Dylan Edwin, he'll be looking to take on Armani Modest. They jogged across the line together in setting the fastest time in qualifying, and later this afternoon they'll be doing it for real and giving more genuine effort than they would have done in the qualifiers. But Dylan Edwin putting a cap on his season, NCAA Division II relay champion, NCAA Division II All-American, 10.40 seconds, fastest man in St. Lucia, and he confirms that today with a win at the national championships in the 100-meter dash, edging Lennon Leos for that gold medal in the final just moments ago, and Shelton St. Rose in 3rd. 3, as I said, collegians or former collegians going 1, 2, 3 in the men's 100-meter dash. Edwin unattached, Leos, Monstars, and St. Rose. St. Rose going for Choiseul.
This is an end to our running events for this morning's session. All eyes right now should be on the javelin and the men's pole vault competitions before we continue with our session for this afternoon. I will take this opportunity to shout out our sponsors: Blue Waters, Real Foods, Flow, St. Lucia National Lotteries Authority, St. Lucia's Olympic Committee, Massey Stores, Finite Graphics, and of course, Albies for making this live.
Introducing the all-new 500ml Eco Bottle from Blue Waters. It's easy to open and full of great tasting sodium-free artesian well water that doesn't spill when you open it thanks to its wide mouth design. So grab one today. Life is better with Blue Waters.
Coming soon! The same excellent Lucelec service in a new location near Gablewood South. Thanks for your patience.
My life and I want more time, more power. Pay my Lucelec bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card. Pay direct to Lucelec my account. I have the power, yeah. Pay online to Lucelec my account. Anywhere, any day, any hour. Lights are on at home. No more standing in line. No more worrying about my bill. Now I'm all paid up. Got more time to chill, yeah. Pay my Lucelec bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card.
Lucelec Southern office is now open for business, but we've moved. We're now located upstairs Martha's Tire Office Complex, opposite Gablewood South, along the Viewfort Labrie Highway. We're open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to help you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucelec's Southern office, opposite Gablewood South. New location, same great service.
Introducing the all-new 500ml Eco Bottle from Blue Waters. It's easy to open and full of great tasting sodium-free artesian well water that doesn't spill when you open it thanks to its wide mouth design. So grab one today. Life is better with Blue Waters.
Welcome back, Trackside. I'm here with Dylan Edwin, winner of the men's 100 meters. Dylan, hopefully the first half of a double for you.
Yeah, it's my first time, my second time making the finals in the at national championships. The result was what I was not expecting that result, but I mean, at the end of my season, so I'll just close the books and get ready for next year.
Of course, you had a pretty strong season, your first year with Texas A&M Commerce, becoming an All-American, becoming a national champion. Just tell me how that season went for you.
It was pretty good. The last end of the season I had doubts, and I spoke to my coach. He told me like, do not worry, I'm training you for the other season, and I just believed in him. I chose the training, and I just came out the other season and I just performed, and it was really good, I would say.
Okay, and of course you're still a little bit of a newbie to athletics. You haven't been in this for very long. Talk to me about just the decision making that goes behind saying, hey, you know, this is something I think I can do. Thanks
to my best friend Issa Lionel and my coach Jimmy Lewis. I never wanted to do track and field, but at SAFA, I run at the sports meet, and then I placed first, and they were like, you know, you could run, so give it a try. And then I tried it out, and that's where it all started. And I'm really excited. I want to thank my coach Jimmy Lewis. Thanks for Issa Lionel. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And you have the 200 meters coming up today as well with Armani Modeste. Yesterday you two were glancing at each other and having some fun. No more fun and games this afternoon.
Today is all down to business. No more fun. Just gonna go out there, give my best. Hopefully I could win and, you know, run a fast time.
All right. Thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right. I have one on the infield, well, two events actually, javelin throw and pole vault. So we're going to kick it back to our field events coverage.
Introducing the all-new 500 ml Eco Bottle from Blue Waters. It's easy to open and full of great-tasting sodium-free artesian well water that doesn't spill when you open it thanks to its wide mouth design. So grab one today. Life is better with Blue Waters.
Lucelect Southern office is now open for business, but we've moved. We're now located upstairs Martha's Tire Office Complex, opposite Gablewood South along the Viewfort Labrie Highway. We're open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. Check out our online options first, but if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to help you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucelect's Southern office, opposite Gablewood South. New location, same great service.
Introducing the all-new 500 ml Eco Bottle from Blue Waters. It's easy to open and full of great-tasting sodium-free artesian well water that doesn't spill when you open it thanks to its wide mouth design. So grab one today. Life is better with Blue Waters.
It's my life and I want more. More time, more power. Pay my Lucelect bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card. Pay direct to Lucelect my account. I have the power, yeah. Pay online to Lucelect my account. Anywhere, any day, any hour. Lights are on at home. No more standing in line. No more worrying about my bill. Now I'm all paid up. Got more time to chill, yeah, yeah. Pay my Lucelect bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card.
Lucelect Southern office is now open for business, but we've moved. We're now located upstairs Martha's Tire Office Complex, opposite Gablewood South along the Viewfort Labrie Highway. We're open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. Check out our online options first, but if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to help you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucelect's Southern office, opposite Gablewood South. New location, same great service.
Introducing the all
Lucelect Southern office is now
at the National Championships. Day 2 happening now is the Men's Javelin Open and the Men's Pole Vault Open. Currently the bar is at 3.50 meters with one competitor still competing. Jeremiah Felix of Monrepo, he's cleared 3.30 meters. Rashid James, also of Monrepo, is second, clearing 3.00 meters. And Jalil Hollinshed, also of Monrepo, didn't make any attempts. In our men's javelin, at attempt number 5, in the throw, we still have Albert Reynolds of Elite leading the pack. 75.50 meters. Sitting in second, Michael Popote of Sports Academy, 48.05 meters. And in third, sitting in third right now, Darian Roberts, Monstars, 44.93 meters.
So that's the season leader in terms of domestic competition. The two season leaders in second and third position right now, behind obviously the overall season leader for St. Lucia and national record holder Albert Reynolds. Albert, of course, training over in Grenada with Paul Phillips, the coach of the world champion Anderson Peters. Has gone over 80 meters in 2019. Hasn't had many competitions this year, unfortunately, so he hasn't been seeing that kind of distance. He threw 67.96, 70.35 and 71.56 at 3 meets at the Kirani James Stadium between April and May of this year. So this actually represents a season's best for him.
And on the runway right now, we have Darian Roberts of Monstars with a best in this competition right now, 44.93 meters. Darian is a multi-event athlete. So he's competed in the 100 meters. We'll see him in the javelin, and we'll see him later today in the men's high jump.
One of, I think, 2 or 3 athletes who've secured partial scholarships for this upcoming academic year to schools in the United States, trying to get the necessary funding to put together the rest of what he needs to be able to head off to school.
And during this 2-day competition, which we usually would see an octathlon or a heptathlon, we will not see that. So we have a number of our multi-athletes competing in a number of the different events. Jeremiah Felix, brother to CJ Nelson Felix, has already attempted 3.50 meters and failed at that first attempt, so we will have 2 more attempts at that height.
Albert's 75.50 today, 75.50 puts him just outside of the world top 100. Surpassing Brett Thompson of the USA. And I'll let you know where he sits as far as the CAC region is concerned. Led, of course, this year by Keyshawn Walcott, former Olympic champion, Anderson Peters, former Olympic champion, both going over 80 meters. Only 3 men in the CAC region have gone over 80 meters so far this year. Albert came in ranking 14th in the Central American and Caribbean region, and so far he is now moved up to 9th in the CAC region, with that throw of 75.50, passing David Carillon of Mexico and Zion Hill of Barbados.
And right now we see Albert on the runway getting ready for his 5th attempt. Big scream there for Albert. Looks like he's just over the 70-meter mark there. In this competition, Albert has had so far only 1 throw under 70 meters. All his other throws have been above the 70-meter mark.
And he'll always be in the hunt for that 80 meters. He's really elevated St. Lucia's national record over the past 14 years. Just taking it higher and higher from the 60s, gone through to the mid-70s, and then a couple of years ago, surpassing that 80-meter mark.
All right, and on the runway now we see Jeremiah Felix, 2nd attempt at 3.50 meters in the pole vault. Pole vault is one of our least popular events here on island, but we've had major success in that event, especially at the Curved level.
In the old days, and this is before my time, pole vaults, when it used to be contested with a bamboo pole, used to be something that was reasonably popular, I think, at St. Mary's College.
And Jeremiah Felix of Monopole, way over that bar there on his 2nd attempt, 3.50 meters.
And just to offer some further context on Albert Reynolds and his performances over the years, Albert, there are only 30 men who've thrown better than Albert all-time, 82.19 meters. In fact, 29 men in the North and Central American and Caribbean area. So in the USA, Canada, the Caribbean, Central America, only 29 men. Cuba, only 29 men have thrown better than Albert Reynolds ever, with his 82.19 meters. So young man coming out of Babonneau, born and raised in Babonneau.
Previously national footballer.
National footballer, yes. So he's really done extremely well for himself. Neve Hubert, well down the standings is Neve, 35.96 in 5th place a little while ago. A little bit steep there, he's not getting the javelin to climb.
Neve is also the youngest in the field at 18. So.
Okay, but that was never your favorite.
No.
I won't be asking Makiba for too much commentary on the javelin throw. She excelled at a lot of things, but this was not necessarily one of them.
Well, I started throwing the javelin fairly late into my career, and I pretty much just stayed consistent. I think I started throwing at 37 meters and I ended. The last time I threw it was 37 meters.
Yeah, it was somewhere, yeah, you remained somewhere in that region. So elite hurdler, elite high jumper, but the throws were not necessarily your best friends. And I mean, it's always a case of give and take in the combined events. You have something that you do really, really well. Certainly we've seen the best combined events athletes right now in the Caribbean. Tara Gittins, unfortunately, won't be going to the Olympics for the heptathlon. And in fact, also prior to her, Akila Jones from Barbados, again excelling in the jumps, doing really, really well in the long jump and high jump, but not all that great in the throws.
On the runway now, CJ Felix.
And CJ again, very, very steep. His angle of release is way too tight. You need to let that javelin, similar to the discus and the javelin, you need to let them sort of ride the air a little bit. So you need to point the nose where you want it to go. And if you've got the nose up in the air, then it's going to go up, straight up and straight down, as I always tell my athletes. But just continuing the thread of conversation about combined events athletes from the Caribbean. Makiba, that's true of the women, that they've been, by and large, really excellent in the jumps, but they've struggled a little bit when it comes to the throws. Some of the top, and of course I certainly would count you amongst the top combined events athletes from the Caribbean, having gone to the World Championships. But for the men, that's not necessarily been the case, especially the likes of the Grenadians, the brothers Kurt Felix and Lyndon Victor. They are really fantastic throwers. They're decent high jumpers as well, but they're really fantastic at the throws, and that's where they tend to separate themselves from their competition.
For Grenada, right?
For Grenada, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. They're really good at javelin, they're really good at discus throw, but they don't do particularly well in the long jump and the pole vault. We just saw Michael throwing again. Michael sitting second in this competition. He is having some conversation with the officials.
Michael, also a combined events athlete. Lines.
Now, I mean, talking about combined events athletes, Albert himself was a decent high jumper at one time. and he did have a few conversations about possibly going into combined events. Was a good sprinter, good high jumper.
I think he's still a decent sprinter though. That's why because of his build, he's a little bit more explosive.
Absolutely. I remember we spoke once when he went to, I think you would have been at CAC games in Cuba.
Yes.
When he threw against, was it Guillermo Martinez from Cuba, and the shot put was happening around the same time as javelin throw, and he, they were in the same general warm-up area, or the same holding area, and he saw Guillermo and he assumed Guillermo must be going out for shot put, only to see him show up in the javelin throw area. And that one again, in the same general area, he's been having conversations with himself on the runway. He's been second guessing and reviewing his throws from the first throw. So it's clear that he's not entirely happy, despite the fact that he has set a season's best. And we see his one of his first coaches striding across the screen, long-time official, vice principal of the Babonneau Secondary School, Erasmus Wayne Benty, whose son is studying journalism at UWI Mona in Jamaica. Over in the pole vault, is this the third try, Makiba, at 3.5?
First attempt, buys up.
First at 3.7?
Yep.
I think this might be a personal best for him, if I'm not mistaken. Attended Marigot Secondary. Stanley John Odlum Secondary. And unable to negotiate that one for the time being.
Still has 2 attempts left at this height. Looks like this is the end of our javelin event.
Which also signals pretty much the end. I mean, we have one more event to conclude, but it's nearly the end of our morning session.
Nope, it looks like it's the end. We see the officials walking away.
So that's, like if the pole vault is over, that ends our morning session. And we will resume at 2 p.m. with men's triple jump, men's high jump, women's 1500, the 1500 meter series, including women's and men's 1500 meters. The 200-meter finals will also be run this afternoon. Girls, boys, women and men. And we will conclude with the 4x4. We won't be seeing the 3,000 meter run. That would have been for women. Just 2 women entered and only 1 actually turned up. So it looks as though this event is concluding the pole vaults for men. So Dylan Edwin, national champion in the men's 100, one of the highlights for the morning. Albert Reynolds winning the men's javelin throw, no surprise there. Shanice Curtin winning the 400-meter run youth. Kadeem Larcher, the 400-meter run youth boys champion as well. Carissa Augustine in the, was it Aliyah Estefor in the 400?
It was Carissa Augustine, just dipping under 1 minute.
Okay, Carissa Augustine and 59.71. And Michael Joseph just missing out on a national junior record in the 400-meter men.
Kelly Charles, 6.84 Roadbusters champion in the long jump men. Janelle Jacoby, 1.70 meters. Monsters in the high jump women.
In the 100-meter girls, Hannah Charles winning from Rockets over Naomi London. In the boys, Rockets again, Sergio McKenzie winning the title over Cushel St. Rose from Pace Setters.
In the women 100-meter open, Maya Hippolyte of Survivors taking that win. And then we said Dylan Edwin, our collegiate athlete, taking first in the 100-meter men open.
And of course, unfortunately, we didn't see coverage of it, but winning the 5,000-meter run, Michael Bissett of Roadbusters taking the victory over Henris McDiarmid, also of Roadbusters. And McDiarmid finishing off, and I really wish we did have coverage of it because he finished off with a series of push-ups after crossing the line.
Oh, that
Crossed
was
the line,
cool.
did some high knees, did some push-ups, and then went off to sell some coconut water. So he's had a pretty good day. He's enjoying his Sunday, it's safe to say. So enjoy the rest of your break. We're going to be off for just under an hour, and we'll be back at 2 p.m. with the men's triple jump, the men's high jump, and the women's 1,500-meter run open.